I wonder if at some point I should move my little Yeti because it's not going to be wintertime anymore, but I just would be so sad because I love him so much. I didn't really post a lot last week because I was really sick, so I kind of couldn't do much of anything except for make it through the day. And on Friday I didn't even make it through the day. I just slept and laid in bed because I was really sick. And so today I got back out and got back to my routine, and I didn't go to the gym, but hopefully I'll do that later. It's the most perfect spring day today, so it's I mean, it's the perfect March day, I feel like, for me. It's raining a little bit. It's just misty enough. It's cold, but not freezing. My ears are still a little cold, but I was fine. And it was really quiet and just crisp. And I'm really reluctant to leave this winter cold period this year. I'm just really reluctant to leave that. I think that I just am a winter person. I think I love winter. I think I am a winter. And I've just never really liked summer. And spring, just all that spring means to me is that summer is coming. And I kind of hate summer. And I feel validated with what we've been through with the weather in the summer. When we had, I feel like we need to buy gas masks after the fires in Canada and what it did for our air quality, where it was so bad. I feel like I need to get air purifiers and just be suited up for that. And it's funny, I've come to appreciate our apartment here so much. I love it so much. And even it's nice to feel settled into a place and to know the things that I want to change or improve on, but know the things also that I'm happy with, and just feel like we're really kind of nesting into this space and feeling good about it. And I say that because thinking about getting air purifiers and stuff like that, I think, yeah, we're lucky because it's a very community-oriented neighborhood, and we know our neighbors, and I feel like we have a good, just enough of a relationship with our neighbors to be able to ask for help if we need it, or, be cool with them. Or, if we plunged into some sort of apocalypse, I feel like we'd all kind of work together, maybe, hopefully. So that's nice. Actually, the whole apocalyptic piece starts to kind of get to what I started talking about. Oh, I meant to light a candle. I do want to do that before I get into that. But yeah, that is so annoying. Should I give these matches another try to see if it will work? I feel like this is a case study in how to make content that nobody would enjoy, because it's just me taking my sweet ass time, lighting candles and talking about nonsense, my walks or whatever. But yeah, how to feel like you're in the 1700s. I love it. So speaking of apocalyptic whatever, I've been spitballing a lot with what I would want to form for some sort of dissertation, or what I'd want to pursue a PhD in. And my background before my master's that I'm in right now is in anthropology and Spanish, actually, which I think when I think about my Spanish degree and how it all came about, I think I really like language. I think I liked the linguistics aspect of it. I liked being able to speak another language. I still really do want to live in another country at some point, specifically one where I can focus on language skills. And I don't feel like it necessarily has to be a Spanish-speaking country, although it would be easier. But a romance language, a country that speaks another romance language, either Spanish or similar. Um, and so yeah, so my undergrad was in anthropology and a language, and then I'm doing this master's in education. And I've always kind of said I'd want to go for a PhD at some point. I don't think there's ever a good time. I actually am not mad that I didn't do it in my 20s. I think that I probably, I don't know. I don't know what that would have been like, but I'm very excited about doing something that has to do with modern spirituality and modern faith. Um, and that doesn't necessarily have to be in a divinity school. It doesn't necessarily have to be like an MDiv, a Master's of Divinity, or something like that. It can be in anthropology, where you're more like thinking about faith and thinking about modern spirituality and modern faith. And specifically, I've realized that I think something that I feel like there probably is a gap in from what I've looked into, and I am really interested in kind of trying to develop, is um, this idea of like what the female experience of using technology for spiritual purposes or in a spiritual way looks like. Specifically, the idea that um, the idea that a platform, any sort of computational platform is what I've been calling it. So that would be anything that has an algorithm behind it, um, that there is some sort of divinatory quality to using that. And I think as AI develops, that becomes stronger and stronger and stronger. So there's this belief that if an AI filter serves you something, that there's truth to it. Or if you're scrolling on TikTok or scrolling on Instagram, that something is revealed to you that has some sort of meaning to it. And I'm just really fascinated in how that experience is going to develop for people and what that's going to do to kind of change society. And I think that talking about it is probably helpful, and researching it is helpful. I think there's also something interesting about art making as it relates to um, using social platforms, or using social platforms, I think, in some sort of more divinatory way or spiritual way. I think there's something really interesting there, and I would want to try to tease that out. I think a good research effort, a good research project, it shouldn't mean that I have all the answers. It should mean that there's a lot of questions that I want to um, unpack. So I'm excited about that. I'm also excited about programming that I want to put together that doesn't necessarily, like, it's interesting because it doesn't have to be for my job, but I think I can put it into the context of my job and see if there's any place for it, and if there isn't, then I could take it somewhere else. So it is sort of like D&I programming. In our company, we don't call it DEI. I'm sure people do use DEI, so diversity, equity, and inclusion, but typically it's called, in a more more official term, it's called diversity and inclusion, because equity in a finance company means a lot of stuff. And also, even within diversity, equity, and inclusion, equity sometimes actually doesn't bring out like meaningful dialogue, although maybe that's not true. I don't know. But in our company, it's called D&I. The thing about equity as part of it too, so there is a diversity and inclusion aspect to my education degree, which I'm grateful for. I mean, within education, I think it's kind of standard that that's included. And the more you really dig into equity as a concept, the more you realize why it's like equality, which is, people have been debating what that means for since humans have been contemplating ideas, and it's like freedom. So yeah, these big philosophical pillars I don't think diversity is a sweeping question of what does it mean for something to have diversity, to be diverse. That's not a question. That's a, you can look at it and see. And inclusion is also pretty straightforward of whether something is inclusive or not. So I think D and I going together because there's a clear definition and a clear line of like what those things are, and equity becomes something much more up for debate and up for how you do diversity initiatives and how you do inclusion initiatives. That's a whole other thing. But I think even within equity, like what it means for something to be equitable, and what equity looks like and how it manifests is, yeah, it's a different space. So I agree with how it's been done at our company. But yeah, there's just a bunch of trainings in there that I would want to put those trainings together, not because I necessarily think that I have such expertise that I am the voice of different topics that I'd want to bring forward, but more so because I feel equipped to be able to lead or facilitate small group, mid-sized group discussions about it, and I think that they're important, and I feel like I have enough passion behind it for it to come to light. So that's my time. I think that's how I'm going to end all of these. That's my time. And I also want to write out a bunch of those ideas and the ideas that came from my walk before my day gets going more. So I really hope that I can commit to doing this at least 3 times a week. I was kind of doing it daily for a while. I think if I can at least do 3 days a week, that'll be great. Maybe more. And I hope you have a great day.